everyone. Welcome to this episode of SalesboxTV. My name is Alex Roy. I'm the founder of SalesBox AI. In SalesboxTV episodes, we talk about revenue, pipeline, and growth type of topics. We speak to business leaders, marketing, and sales leaders on this topic. And today we have a very special guest from a very special company. I'm sure all of you use the product of this company for hours together each day, and generate a lot of value from it. So we have Deepu Nair, Deepu Nair from LinkedIn. He is the account director for the LinkedIn marketing solutions. Deepu, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Same here. Yep. So Deepu, if you could start out by your current role at LinkedIn and tell us a little bit about LinkedIn marketing solutions specifically, that would be great for our viewers.
Absolutely. So I predominantly try to solve problems for marketers, business leaders, founders, and we also handle the talent branding side of business. So predominantly, you have your founders, you have your business leaders, both from the marketing side of the business and from the talent side. So my typical day goes on having conversations with them, trying to understand where or at what phase they are in and how do we probably could help using LinkedIn as a platform effectively.
So Deepu, I think we've known each other for about now 3+ years, and
Right.
one thing I've noticed about you is that you have this very rare skill, or if I may say, this innate ability to kind of very quickly understand the customer problem and step into their shoes, if I may say so. So would love to learn, and I'm sure our viewers are as well, to learn more about your background and how that's helped in your current role.
Sure. Firstly, thank you so much for those kind words. Um, the way I look at things is I'm deeply vested in solving the problem of my customer, and when I get into that zone, I'm pretty much there to solve their problem. So I purposely try to be there, as an individual. But what has led me to this space is my experiences in the past. So I would say it wasn't planned, but the way things have rolled up, I got experiences in different industries. I was a biotech grad who did his MBA and landed in a hotel job. I was in the hospitality space trying to look at strategies and was trying to have conversations to sell a luxury product. And from then I moved to the media space where I was having conversations with brands to integrations uh, in a TVC or in a film that leads to brands. Fortunately, like I spoke about, working with National Geographic Channel, Fox Live, Star Movies, and I was part of the launch team for Star Movies Select in India. It was an ultra niche um, uh, English movie channel. From there, I moved to an English entertainment channel that was Colors Infinity. We were a competitor to Star World, and that led to being back in the movie space, but with a slightly bigger role. I was handling South for HBO and Warner Bros. With these all experiences, I also got into the entrepreneurial journey and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
got into the space of trying to solve a larger problem. And the problem is, you got to know that agri space or growing or farming isn't the sought after profession. And in fact,
mm-hmm,
a farmer's kid doesn't want to be a farmer anymore. And the population of the country and this world is going to grow. So who is
mm-hmm,
going to actually grow vegetables for you? And it's a very interesting relation that happened where we went to schools and spoke to kids and asked them what is that you would want to be, and nobody said that I want to grow vegetables or I would want to be a farmer. They were like,
mm-hmm,
so footballer to pilot the regular ones, right? And that led to this entire space that, listen, we need to make that change and try to at least create a product which will ask children questions. And
mm-hmm.
that's how we created a DIY kit where you can grow mushrooms at home. It was a small box. You open the box, we give a sprayer, and you get fresh organic mushrooms growing. And then and then that seeds in thoughts in the minds of children, and that's where we got in. And that's where I actually got to understand and learn firsthand about
Hmm.
businesses, understand where and what we could do. We did a hell lot of mistakes, and we had to eventually shut shop. But the amount of learning that I got in that 2 years was immense. I would say based on all these experiences, I got my job at LinkedIn. They probably wanted somebody who would consult brands or understand the pulse of the customer, and probably serve solutions. And the last 4 years, I've been absolutely fortunate to work with leaders and marketers. I'll probably say 1,000 plus marketers that I've spoken to in all different segments, starting from startups to SMBs to large organizations. And trust me, I have only learned. I've learned from their experiences. I've learned being in their shoes at times, and I'm still learning. So,
No, I mean, I would say that's amazing. So I think you mentioned hospitality, media, as an entrepreneur, and yeah, it's not surprising that the value and that kind of answers my question on how, or where that skill comes from that I mentioned. So another thing, Deepu, that I've noticed is your social selling skills, right? I often see that sales or business development, or account management in general, is averse to social media. So to be on video, to post content, to be a thought leader, etc. Right? So would love to, and you've been someone who's very active, I would say, very regular over the over the years, and would love to know, like, how has this translated for you into business, and what would your advice be to sales, business development folks around this topic?
sure. I think thought leadership and executive presence defines a lot. When I say in that means it not just about yourself, but it also brings a brand behind you. And I got into this mission of sharing knowledge with this whole core selfish objective to learn. So what I thought was, if I'm reading a particular content and um, or viewing content in some platform. So just to tell you, when I was growing up, I had learning difficulties. I had issues with comprehension. I had issues with, um, reading a huge paragraph and understanding what it meant. I didn't know it until I was married to a special educator who told me that I have a problem.
Hmm.
And to overcome that, I think God gives you strength to give you excess power to do something more, or probably what you're stronger at. And for me, it's videos. My form of learning is absorbing from video and learn through it, and then I have different other sources which I ratify. And when I was trying to connect these dots, I
Hmm.
said, okay, now I want to learn furthermore. And in this entire process of learning furthermore, let me get the crisp of this entire information and then put it across again and see if it helps other people around. This was the core objective, and this is where I'm following it, because I realize that when I'm preparing for a particular piece of content, the amount of effort that I put in is actually helping me at my workplace, because I'm doing a lot more research. I'm spending time on a lot more stats and data,
Hmm.
and I get to have meaningful conversations with my customers. So what I did was I picked up a niche. I'm in the B2B space. I'm talking to marketers day in and out. What more can I do? I have access to a lot more, and today everybody has access. So how do I leverage it? Now, how this has helped me, I think it's completely changed the the way things have fallen across to me. So it's always been time since you're into account management or in sales. A major challenge for folks is outreach. You reach out to people, and then probably
Yeah.
there's a smaller percentage of them who probably comes back to you. And there's this theory called as trace decay theory, which says that it's more about recall. The more people see, the more people hear from you, and probably they may not know your name, but they know that this is one guy who comes on LinkedIn and probably gives some information, or there is resemblance that falls by. So what and how it's helped me to answer your question. Now when I reach out to my customers, they are delighted to say that, oh, great, we would love to hear from you. Or
Hmm.
they would say, hey, Deepu, can you work with me on this? And I feel that has helped me. I've been getting a lot more folks reaching out to me saying that I have a problem. I would want to have a conversation with you. How can we take this forward? Versus me reaching out, and the ratio of, I would probably say, if I have to put it in the marketing term, um, I've seen more replies coming quickly when I
Okay.
reach out to you. So yeah,
They're more responsive, and I think, yeah, the recall factor, like you said, rightly. And yeah, no, I think I read on your profile as well. Seems like this, you've been crushing your quotas as well, so that's always great as well. So congratulations.
God's
um,
been kind, and so it's going on well so far.
Great, great. Maybe let's move on and talk about the shift in the market, right? So the mood, perceptibly, especially over the last 6 months, has
Right.
been, So are you seeing that translate? What are you seeing for with your customers, right? In terms of, is the objective of the campaign shifting? Are they looking at more top versus mid funnel type of leads? What are you seeing what are you seeing or hearing from your customers?
Well, we do see a first-hand effect on the overall crunch that's happening in the market. So, uh, as you are into a similar business, I would say marketing funds are the ones first kind of get hit. So, what I have seen, especially in the last few months, is um, it's become very challenging for marketers to expand their marketing spends and focus on a lot of aspects. Marketers know actually what's required and how to focus on the entire brand to demand story. But because of the need of the hour, there has been more stress going on lead generation. But I would probably say um, a smarter marketer ensures that there is a lot more conversation that happens internally first. So he fixes his home first, where there is given explanation on marketing is not spending, market is investing in your future growth.
Hmm. Hmm.
While this conversation happens at the CFO's table, which is someone who needs to be explained on why this is not a spend rather than investment, and broken down on a long-term goal that would be foreseen and not an immediate effect.
Hmm.
While this goes back to conversations that I have with marketing, that okay, I've run campaigns for a couple of days. What has been my ROI, right? And you can't expect something like that happen very quickly. There is the entire journey that needs to be looked at. So once that thing is set up,
Hmm.
then it goes back on prioritizing what is important to me right now to focus on. Once the marketer has focused on that priority, if it's pure play marketing, um, they still don't give up on brand marketing, the right ones, right? Because it is important. It's important to clearly understand the difference between demand generation and lead generation. Creating that demand to fulfill the need of your customer, and then having the right conversation, nurturing them, and then taking it up, versus just going after asking, give me your phone number, email ID, and book a demo. So there is stress, but
Hmm.
that's what we try and explain and try and tell them, which they know, right? It's they know about it. They probably only hear it from somebody else.
Right, right, right. Yep, absolutely. And over the years, LinkedIn has introduced multiple ad formats, right? But often I see in my LinkedIn feed, at least, that it's still, majority of that is still, the image ads, or video
Yes,
ads at most.
right,
But would love to, I'm sure our viewers would love to learn more about some of the newer ad formats that
right.
LinkedIn Marketing Solutions has brought to the market,
Sure.
and how they could use it.
Sure. We recently introduced document ads and conversational ads, which conversational ads been there for a while. But I would probably say the newer offerings are document ads, conversation ads, and say LinkedIn events. Um, and there is a lot more scope for marketers to use it effectively. And we have seen fantastic results with all these products. because it predominantly solves great problems for marketers at every point in time. When we had LinkedIn Live, when we launched LinkedIn Live a couple of years back, and then moved down to the event space because the world moved to the hybrid world, and now complete world, completely virtual world, and now we are into this hybrid world. And thanks to that world, we are able to have this fantastic conversation. Is where when you had the event ad predominantly ensuring that your conversation is still on with a very select set of audience, right? And link that back to LinkedIn Live. Some of them, you can, it works in silos without LinkedIn Live. Also, you can use LinkedIn events. Conversation ad led to this major pain point which folks had with InMails, where there was only one CTA. I
Hmm.
probably just give away a lead, or probably I drive traffic to the website. But here we somehow try to get a little bit more intrigue questions that you could add, asking, okay, are you interested? You say no. Probably, would you want to know more?
Hmm.
So it doesn't leave your customer at that point in time to say that it's completely off, but I still want to know more. So taking to that level where you still have an option to drive traffic to your website. And I think that is fantastic, because very often people would say no immediately and then realize, okay, you know what, this sounds interesting, I would want to know more on what you did.
Right, right.
Right. And document ads, we've, like I said, it's one of our latest offerings, and we have seen some great results even from a lead gen perspective. And some brands are using it in an ungated manner as well, so giving away information, and then the next time when you probably have a document ad, you would
Hmm.
give away your details, because it gives you some snapshots and gives you a lot more intel and information which is important for your business. um, we are also going to launch click to message ads, so you would probably see that very soon. Click
Hmm.
to message ads, I think, would be a game changer, where you will have a single image ad, and
Okay.
if you're interested to know more or would want to start a chat, you click on that ad, and you directly have conversations on your emails, or directly leading onto a chat conversation, which I feel saves so much of time, and is going to ensure you have quality conversations leading to stopping time on that entire lead cycle, where you collect a lead, you reach out to somebody, have a conversation here, bang, click of a button, you're talking. So
Yeah, I think that's amazing, because at Salesbox AI as well, we believe conversations to be that currency that marketing could pass on to sales. If they could generate more conversations, uh, that sales could continue. uh, that would because it's very human, right? From when you go from digital to to when you pass on to a human, what you need is conversations.
true.
And it's great to hear that you already have something coming up, and you already have conversational ads, but you're going to have make that process even more simpler. Is great for marketers,
Right.
and great for the sales teams as well.
True. And that's what it's very interesting the way things are changing so quickly. um, and the entire sales cycle is looked upon in a different manner, and I'm sure uh, AI products like Salesbox AIs will also help a lot of marketers accordingly.
Absolutely. Yep. So I wanted to know your thoughts on like the time duration of a campaign, right? So especially like what the concept of an always on campaign when it comes to LinkedIn versus campaigns which is just for under a week. What do you usually recommend to your customers?
There's this interesting theory called as hum sing hums theory. That means you are always singing, and then you have notes coming up,
Hmm.
a high pitch and a low pitch, but the song continues. And I feel a right organization would remain on this always on space, where they identify certain buckets or certain times where you know that these are tactical campaigns, which is very important. It could be based on the sales cycle, it could be the yearly planning model, it could be events, it
Hmm.
could be identifying product launches that is coming up. So A right marketer would probably identify that initially in their entire calendar, but ensure that in this entire journey they are always there in front of the customer, and using or picking right, obviously tone, but picking right conversation. It could be a customer story, it could be a case study, it could be talking about, as a brand, what are their thoughts on sustainability, what do
Hmm.
they look at in the organization for diversity. So I think picking those conversations from a brand specific, because today an organization is working with another brand, they look at, obviously, from a business standpoint, it's end results, but affiliations towards a particular brand makes a lot of difference in the purchasing decision. Right? That's one element from it. The second part is using thought leadership effectively. How are leaders presenting themselves in this space and having that right conversation when it matters the most? And it could be product led, saying that being a product subject matter expert. It could be talking about brand, where all these other aspect comes in. It could be talking about stories within the company, which could be enriching. And we spoke all about from a marketing lens, which is getting business for the company. But I think the most important part apart from this would be, how do we attract the right talent to work with me? Because since we're talking about growth and we're talking about sales, to support that, you need to have the right people to work with you. And for that, you need to attract the right set. You need to be an employer of choice.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So as a marketer, they need to pick this entire bandwidth, scan through it, and realize, okay, I need to focus 10% of my time here, 15 here, 30 here, but I need to ensure that I'm always there having different conversations, which is effective and relevant for me at this point in time, and then use those high notes and high pitches wherever required, and ensure that the entire cycle is taken care. My sales has enough pipeline. My leadership is happy with the brand resonance. And probably one tip that I feel is marketers need to also be there on sales calls to understand what's happening exactly on the ground,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that they get the pulse of it and use the right communication when it's required to identify the problems that the customers are facing, which I feel is most of the times missing.
Very true. No, I mean, I think you were spot on. In the need to be there. And LinkedIn provides that unparalleled reach, and it's a great platform. And like you rightly put, it's about having that base presence and at the same time amplifying. Certain messages. Wonderful. Now, are you seeing any specific trend? Now, India probably is the second largest market for LinkedIn, in terms of user
Yeah,
base at least, right?
reached 100 million a couple
Oh,
of years
wow.
back.
Okay. Wow, wow. And I'm sure, it's going to be the number one pretty soon, with the user base growth that's projected. So are you seeing, India specific trends, compared to, let's say, worldwide, right? So is there like region specific trends you're seeing?
Well, I have not experienced a very region specific trend at the moment, since you have a mix of brands who are actively using LinkedIn from a marketing solution piece, and most of them, if I have to break it down from a SaaS standpoint, um, I feel the talent for from a marketing space in India is fantastic. They clearly understand what is required, have capabilities of the right tool, and from a business standpoint, can also be a good ROI metrics to look at, versus marketers across. Um, but what we see is, the brand to demand story is something which which marketers are investing for a long run. And another trend that I'm seeing is active integration of, say, uh, revenue ops being part of it instead of sales ops. So there is this integration that's happening across a marketer, a sales guy, and the entire the revenue op or probably a sales op team, and then looking at how do we from a very scrutiny on ROI.
Hmm.
So in this entire mix, it's a debate. There are times when the brand story kind of gets negated, um, but I don't see much of a difference. It's pretty much a global world, and now thanks to the the digital penetration, it's kind of same everywhere. So I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
guess.
no specific changes.
Sure. Yeah. No, and it's also, best practices, etc. It's easy
Yeah,
for to propagate from one region to the other.
yeah,
So, coming to the topic of account-based marketing or ABM itself, and
right,
the capabilities that LinkedIn offers
right,
today, right?
right.
Would love to hear on from you, on the ABM capabilities that LinkedIn offers today.
Absolutely. I think the capabilities that LinkedIn offers on ABM is one of its kind. You can very specifically upload a list of your customers or identify a set of customers which probably is aspirational for you, and you have various different tiers around it at levels of degree that you would want to engage. You can put up list of accounts of your reps who are already having conversations with any form of engagement. Probably you met 100 customers in an event, you know that
Mm.
you can go back and track. And some of the brands who use it very effectively is they identify the entire decision makers, but also identify stakeholders within that company to get maximum penetration. So it's not just talking to the head of marketing. If I had to probably
Mhm,
give
mhm.
an example, I'd probably talk to someone from sales. I would talk from someone from purchasing as well. I would talk to somebody from a project management as to ensure that there is maximum penetration. And towards your campaign performance review, you will know the percentage of penetration that you've had, right? Now, once you've done that, I think it is great to give that intel to your reps to give that information. Listen, a lot of these folks have been consuming our content. Probably, I feel this is a good time to warm this up and then take it to the next level. So, uh, but I tell this to my customers as well that ABM cannot be your only strategy. ABM is one of your strongest strategy that you can look forward to, but it's a part of it. Now, it's very important that if you have defined it as ABM, you need to ensure that you're going to increase that list as well, right? And that's
Mhm.
something which probably at times people do not try to focus on, because I probably have 100 accounts. I know that I want to go after these 100 accounts. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. But I want to ensure as a business leader that these 100 accounts should become 200 accounts so that my reps would have more accounts to go after. And I keep building this pipeline and I keep filling this up. Now, how do I do that? How do I focus on my TAM? So if this entire chain is done well, then you have a complete focus approach to go by a step by step process.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah. So, and we do have an integration with LinkedIn, right, from Salesbox AI side as well. And one of the things that our customers utilize that for is to expand to the buying committee members, like you rightly said, and to get to white space accounts, which is perhaps identified using intent signals, or this it's criteria based, and like you rightly said, kind of amplify that audience on LinkedIn, and get your story in front of them and earn their trust.
true, true. It's difficult to actually break that entire structure, right? You have to penetrate to gain trust, credibility, and support, and then you start having the right conversations with them, which eventually would lead you to closure.
Let's move on to the hottest topic at this point. At least over the last 2 months, it's all about generative AI, and maybe the pet name for that is Chat GPT, right? So I'm sure our viewers are curious to know how could they use generative AI along with LinkedIn, and are you seeing already some of your customers using some of this in their campaigns?
Well, with ChatGPT, my thought process is, well, it's a fantastic tool. It's great innovation, and there are so many more AI uh, organizations, well, including yourself, who adds value and can be used in the right way. But talking more specific from a ChatGPT space, I feel it now. And again, this is a personal take. Now, what I feel is there are times when individuals think, probably 10 times, okay, what should I post on LinkedIn, and what should be the conversation that I could start with. And in fact, Microsoft recently did share the usage of ChatGPT with Edge and Bing being merged in a right way, where it gives you some direction on what can be used. The tonality can be used effectively. So now there are two takes on this: a, the authenticity of content that comes by, but secondly, I would say, the AI space gives you that luxury to at least think about a lot of aspects, and then human creativity is required to fulfill and ensure that the content looks great. Right now, what are marketers currently doing? I feel anyway the tools, again, is just going to enable them to do better. So it's going to give them directions, going to give you help with processes. Your copywriting is in place, gives you more ideas to think, but you still need somebody there to use it wisely. So yes, probably the number of people required may not be as much as it's required in future. You can use that manpower effectively somewhere else, but have somebody, why not take inspirations from the tools that's available and use it effectively to benefit you and save time. And today, I think that's where we are moving towards, and we will see a lot more disruptive, uh, you know, uh, tools and stuff like these coming up. So, how to use it effectively? I think the marketers would pick it up right immediately. I think there'll be lot more to benefit. Have you been using ChatGPT?
We've been looking at it, more from, for looking at variations of ads. I know it's not something we found that, you could take and use directly, right? But, it does help us, in terms of headlines and, descriptions. It does give you a base material, which,
Right.
you then add your magic on, right? So, but it's not, a case of, you just take it and copy paste it. But, yeah, definitely, yeah, it's a productivity tool at this point of time,
True. True.
to pick up the right headlines and the right trendy ones, and even
Right.
that description. It's a,
Right.
yeah, definitely a time saver, and exciting times.
Yeah.
Looking forward to how it evolves, and we should have more use cases
Very
as the
soon.
months go by.
Very soon. Yes. Now, since we have more players apart from ChatGPT, we'll have to wait and see how these capabilities are used in the right way. And yeah, I'm very interested in this world. I've just been putting my head down, trying to learn as much as I can, and I'm trying to use it wherever possible.
Cool. No, that's exciting, and so thank you, Deepu, for your time. And we covered a lot of topics in over the last 30 minutes,
Right.
and thank you for explaining to our viewers, the trends and best practices and tips that you see in the space. Have a good rest of the week, and we look forward to speaking to you soon as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. I just really enjoyed talking to you, and the last 30 minutes just flew by. Thank you so much for having me over, and I look forward to staying in touch with you.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
All right.